everybody came to learn about breaking, right? I feel blessed because they invited an old man like me, age 65.
That is Stephen Leafloor from the early b-boy group, the Canadian Floor Masters. He also goes by the name of B-Boy Buddha, and he's in Paris to take in the debut of the breaking event, finally being added to the Summer Games after decades of competition in other forums. The group led a demo ahead of the women's event, which is happening today, and the men's contest will take place tomorrow. Heather caught up with Leafloor after he laid down a clinic for the crowd at Canada Olympic House.
That was a fantastic demo. They loved it.
Well, thank you. I mean, you know what? Like b-boying, b-girling, breaking, it's all about energies, positive energies, making people smile, bringing people together. That's what we wanted to do.
And that's what you did, and that's what everyone is looking for. I mean, people are so excited about seeing breaking here in Paris. As one of the, somebody from the early days, part of the community for a long time now, how do you feel about its being here?
Well, honestly, many of us had mixed feelings because it's like my baby, like when you've been involved for over 40 years and stuff, it's not just like a sport or an activity that you do, it's part of who you are. So I love the culture so much that I was concerned, does this add to the culture, or are we moving over in a way that feels more individualistic? Because I'm all about community. That being said, I'm so excited for the young people, the young dancers of the world, because if it brings more sponsorships and more funding so that they can do what they can do, they can go to university or whatever. A lot of us didn't have those opportunities. Life was tough. Life was a grind back in the early days. So I'm excited for people. And, my own children, my adult children, were like, Dad, you got to go. You got to go.
You got to be there for the first time.
You got to. So emotionally, like there's an emotional thing about why I'm here, because it's like I feel like Phil Wizard's grandpa kind of thing. Even though I'm out on the East Coast, he's in the West Coast and stuff. We feel like that to all the young breakers and stuff around the world.
I was going to ask you about that very thing. As one of the first of Canada's b-boys, what do you think about the hot Canadian b-boy right now, Phil Wizard?
Well, I'll tell you, I've had a few nice chats with Phil. I love, first of all, he's just a sweet young man who is humble and who is focused, because you got to be focused for this. But he's a battle cat. I've seen him. I've been in battles with him. Us old guys battled Phil Wizard and some of the best a few months ago in Toronto in Regent Park and stuff. We decided to take it out to the concrete, old school style. Phil's the first one to go down on the floor. So here's a guy who respects our history and our culture, because Canada's got this culture just like the Bronx has the culture. And he's humble, and he's learned, and he's elevated it to the next level, and he's a battle cat. And you watch him dance, it's not just the moves, he has that style and personality.
At the same time, what do we watch for? If we've never seen him dance, anybody wants to see, what are the things that you're going to be keeping an eye on, the things that make him special?
Well, what I look for, and this would be a lot of OGs would kind of look for, is we're dancers first. And so what's your musicality? So like if all of a sudden, the beat drops and the drum goes boom, and it's like bang, Phil hits it exactly on the beat. Okay. Those are kind of the magical moments you look for, like, oh, he's not just moving, he's listening to the music, and his body and the next level of physicality is responding on beat to the music. Okay. You'll take out another dancer if this guy could have better superhuman moves, fast spinning things in the air flares and stuff. But if you have all that too, but you have personality, you stop and you look at the audience, you wink at the judges, you make people smile, you hit things on beat, and you're creative, it's going to be the whole package to win a gold in this. It's
athleticism and artistry at the same time.
100%. I mean, the one I always thought about, maybe it's a bit similar to ice dancing, in that, I mean, they're dancing to music, and there's an artistry, not that they score it the same, but yeah, it's one thing if you can jump up and do quad loops and whatever it is, but they're also judging of like how they look on the ice, how they carry with grace, how they flow.
So that's a really good analogy that you brought up. But we've seen what's happened with ice dancing.
Right.
Are you concerned about possible, judging
Well,
issues?
well, this has been a big debate
Yes.
amongst us, our internal community, right? And, people are like, and it's hard to develop a judging system. So I think they've done the best job they can. But look, it's going to fine tune itself. This is the first run where you're going to, they got the different categories of things that they will try to judge on. I've been a judge many times. We used to just judge like this. 3 of us, they do the thing and we go 1, 2, 3, and you point to who you thought you won, right?
I think it's more sophisticated
It's more,
here.
you need something more than that at the Olympics. Although often for community jams and stuff that work well. Like I used to close my eyes so that I wouldn't be influenced by the other judges, and then I would point.
Okay.
Or you would do, it was a tie. And if it was a tie, you might have to go another round in the battle,
So you just said they're going to maybe have to work some things out at this first go. But we already know they're not in Los Angeles already next time.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
that's
sucks.
a surprise to many people.
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, my understanding is it got selected in France because France gets to pick a few extra activities that they wanted. And France stood up and said, we want breaking. And I can see why. Like the guys I'm hanging out with, Paris City Breakers, Actual Force, the French dancers, they have a rich culture that has 40 years deep, like our culture, But I don't know why. You'd have to ask the American IOC why they didn't select it and why they selected, I don't know what they selected, field hockey or something.
Cricket's coming there.
Cricket.
I mean, all sorts of questions about that.
Because it came from the States.
Yeah.
It came from the
I know.
Bronx,
It came from
right?
the Bronx. It's a mystery.
It's
They'll
a
have to
mystery.
really lay it down so that they're on for Brisbane
Right.
in 2032.
Here was my original prediction. I don't know if it'll roll like this, but I was like, people are often wrong in hip hop. They think, oh, it's interesting, not as big. And then they're surprised at the public's response. I still think this is going to be the darling of the entire Olympics that everybody is talking about. And then things shift, right? When the people are going, damn, the public really loves this.
Why did we not book it for LA?
I'll give you another example. One of the famous old school movies that we all look to is a movie called Beat Street, where Rocksteady Crew, New York City Breakers battled at a club called the Roxy. 40 years old, that movie today. I'm talking to Michael Holman, my friend who worked on it, and he's like, you know what? We had the anniversary. People were, not predicting what we're going to do with hip hop. We put out the idea of a musical, Broadway musical, going to be created on Beat Street, which is all going to be breaking, and now it's going to happen because the public wants it.
Well, we will see what the public thinks.
Right.
And hopefully we'll have another chance to talk about it down the line.
Yeah,
Thank you, Stephen.
absolutely.
Thank you, Buddha.
You're
It's
welcome,
great to
man.
have some time with you.
Yeah, you know what? It's everybody. If I was to leave a last message, if you're interested in what we are and who we are, don't just look at what's going to surface in the Olympics. Dig deeper. All the stories are out there. We work in prisons with kids. We work in remote flying communities that have trauma. This is happening in many countries around the world. There's no dance form in the history of dance that gives back as much as breaking has given back. That's a fact. You will not find in history ballet having outreach programs all over the world like we do. And it's somewhat because it came from the hood. We also give back to the hood. And I guarantee it saved many, many, many people's lives. So that's a backstory worth checking out afterwards.
Much more than medals in this
Much
case.
more, absolutely.
Thank you.
Peace.